Alrighty, here we are on lesson 2, the perimeter and area formulas. So you've probably been waiting for this because you're tired of counting boxes, but we have our formulas now for areas, and then perimeter is the same that it's always been. So for the perimeter of polygons, the perimeter of any polygon is the sum of all the lengths of all the sides. Perimeter is one-dimensional and is measured in linear units such as inches, feet, or meters. So again, our units are not squared. So if we go to find the perimeter of this first example here, all we're going to do is we're going to add up the sides. So 8 plus 9 plus 6, and that would give you 23, and it's just inches. Okay. If we look at example 2 here, we know that the opposite sides are going to be the same. So this will be 8 up top and 5 on the left-hand side. So we would have 8 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5. And if we add those all together, you would get 26, and it's feet. Okay, so perimeter is a pretty easy one. Now area, we're going to start off simple with rectangles. Okay, the area of a rectangle can be found by multiplying the length times the width. And we know that area is measured in square units. So this formula here, maybe highlighted or something, we're going to be rewriting though a bunch of times. So we're using area equals length times the width. So whenever you're finding the area, I would like for you to write the equation out every time just so you get used to using it. So if we look at example 3, you're going to start off with area equals the length times the width. So that means here we're just multiplying 12 times 44. And when you do that, you get 528. And this would be meters squared because it's area, just like we talked about yesterday. Okay, example 4 here, same thing, area equals length times the width, because this works for squares and rectangles. So we're going to be multiplying 16 times 16, and when you get that, you get 256, and again it's meters squared. Okay, so our first formula is area equals length times the width. Right? If you flip the page, next is the area of a parallelogram. So to find the area of a parallelogram, you multiply the base by the height. So our formula here is A equals BH. So the base, if you want to write yourself a note, the base is like your bottom number. Okay, so kind of what's holding it up, and then the height is how tall. Alright, so if you look at example 5 here, again, write out your formula. It's base times height. So our base here, for looking, it's labeled as 10, times our height, which for a parallelogram, they drop in for you, be times 4. So then you'd get 40 centimeters squared. Alright, example 6 here, again, area is base times height. So our base here is 10.7. times our height is 7, and when you multiply that, you get 74.9, and again it's centimeters squared. Okay, they always write the formula as base times height, but if you switch the numbers, that's okay too. Remember, you can multiply in any order. Alright, our last formula is the area of a triangle. So to find the area of a triangle, you multiply the base by the height, and then you divide by 2. The division by 2 comes from the fact that the parallelograms can be divided into 2 triangles. So this is your original formula here. You can write it this way, or if you feel more comfortable, people write it like this: A equals 1/2 base times height. Because remember, multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. So when we look at our example here, so our area, I'll do it both ways. So we have base times height over 2. So our base is 6 times our height is 9, and then we're dividing it by 2. So 6 times 9 is 54, and we're going to divide that by 2. And when we do that, you get 27 centimeters squared. Okay. I'll do the next one the other way that I wrote it. So the 1/2 base times height. So you can have 1/2 times our base, which is 5, times our height, which is 8. So I always think it depends on the numbers you have. It's easier to do 1/2 times 5 times 8 is 40. And we know 1/2 times 40 would be 20, and it's inches squared. Okay? So it's really up to you which way you want to write it, which way you want to solve it, as long as you show your work and you get the correct answer. Okay? On the next page, alright, there's a few more examples, I want you to try on your own. Okay? I do want you to try all 4 of these on your own. Alright, use the examples and the equations from the other page. So again, you're going to try all 4 of these. I'll go and star them all on your own, and then we will go over the answers in class tomorrow.